Hi, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to my presentation of a case study analysis on Savlon's strategy in a competitive market. The overview of my presentation will start with a short background on the case as well as regarding the company Savlon. Then, I will introduce the main issues as identified from the case study, followed by an industry definition which will be illustrated in a tree diagram. Next, I will discuss about the macro environments that has a potential impact towards the company using the DENT-PC theory, where I will be focusing on demographic, economic, and cultural environments, as well as the industry rivalry force from the Porter's Five Forces theory. Recommendations will also be suggested pertaining to the company's operations, and the presentation will end with a conclusion and a short Q&A activity. First, the case study shares about Savlon's strategy in brand positioning for value creation in a competitive market. In the early 1990s, Savlon was known as the antiseptic that did not sting. It was relaunched by Johnson & Johnson India to counter the growing dominance of its major competitor, Dettol, but they never succeeded. Then, the company expanded its antiseptic product category to creams, liquids, soaps and other product varieties. In 2015, ITC Limited, a personal care business, acquired Savlon from J&J India with an aim to create a new engine of growth in the health and hygiene product category. It further introduced and extended the product segments of Savlon into new segments such as soaps and hand wash. In 2016, ITC sought to reposition Savlon as a brand that could bring value for the company. Hence, Savlon launched an innovative campaign called the Healthy Hand Chopsticks, with an aim to induce the habit of washing hands with soap among rural school children in India. The innovative idea was successful as it not only reached several thousands of school children across rural India, but also won several domestic and international awards for the creativity that brought positive impact to the hygiene culture in India. After that, Savlon also hired a brand ambassador, Saina Nehwal, to exemplify the core brand philosophy of performance power, to inspire parents to encourage their children to challenge limits and maximize their true potential. It impacted the society in a positive manner and created a meaningful engagement with its customers. However, Savlon was still unable to overcome Dettol in this market. From the case, the main issues identified are the competitive market of Savlon in India, the low hygiene culture in India, and the barriers of Savlon in accessing into new consumer markets. As mentioned previously, Dettol is a major competitor as it positioned itself as an invisible protection against germs, which represented the new thinking about germs in the consumer's mind. Since 2005, Dettol was able to penetrate to 40% of the urban households with over 50% market share. However, Dettol was not the only competitor in the industry. Lifebuoy and Wipro Santor were also the competitors of Savlon with 15% and 8 to 9% market share respectively. Moving on to the second issue, it has been identified that there is low awareness of the importance of hygiene in India. From the case, the analysis showed that only 53% of the population wash their hands with soap after defecation, while 38% wash their hands before taking food, and only 30% wash their hands before cooking. Furthermore, the rural and urban schools as well as the slum areas do not see washing hands as important. Many of the population, especially in these areas, holds the traditional thinking that diseases are caused by the imbalance of the body instead of the lack of proper hygiene. This then indicates a cultural issue in their perception on the importance and necessity of proper hygiene practices. The third issue is the barriers for Savlon to access into new consumer markets. Although Savlon introduced various new product categories, they were unsuccessful in penetrating to these markets as their products were competing directly with the products in Dettol. As Dettol was already the main brand in personal care products known by the community, Dettol took the opportunity and increased its market penetration to reach wider audiences. Dettol also introduced low-price units that further captured its market. Although Savlon introduced new product segments, people still prefer bar soaps for its cost-effectiveness. From the tree diagram, Savlon is categorized to be in the healthcare industry, as it is a business that provides goods to treat patients with preventive care. Savlon's product is a form of antiseptic or disinfection product that is to be used externally and can be either a liquid or solid form. A macro environment is a part of the external environment of an organization that is beyond the control and influence of the company and has a huge impact on its function. Firstly, I will be discussing about the demographic environmental factor based on the Dent-PC theory. Demographic refers to the characteristics of the population in a specific area and includes multiple factors like age, race, income, and more. The population in India is approximately 16% of the world's population, and this population is expected to exceed 1.4 billion in 25 years, where it will reach 1.5 billion by mid-century. This will impact Savlon positively as a significant opportunity, as it will be able to access into a huge customer base in future years. In addition, regarding the geographic trend of the demographic environment, a statistic by Worldometer suggests that 34.5% of the population in India is urban, which indicates an opportunity to increase market penetration in urban areas to introduce Savlon before Dettol. Next macro-environmental factor is economic. It is predicted that the global antiseptic and disinfectant products market size is expected to grow by $3.48 billion during 2020 to 2024. Furthermore, people living below both the World Bank's $1.25 per day poverty line and the national poverty line has fallen by nearly 1 percentage point per annum on average in the past 2 decades. India has also achieved a growth rate for GDP per capita of almost 5% per annum. This suggests a potential growth in sales revenue in future years as there will be an increase in demand, a lower poverty line, and an increase in GDP in future years. Thus, it presents a significant opportunity towards Savlon. Moving on, studies have shown that only 17.5% of children washes their hands with soap, while there are 19% of children who don't wash their hands before taking their food at all. This shows that there are many people that do not see the importance of proper hygiene, which becomes a threat towards Savlon's sales numbers. Based on the Porter's 5 forces theory, industry rivalry has become the major environmental factor that influences Savlon in its industry. Dettol, since 2005, has penetrated to 40% of the urban households with over 50% market share. It has also occupied a distinct position in the consumer's mind and immense trust and loyalty. This causes a difficulty for Savlon as it reduces the ability to gain greater sales and market share. It also acts as a barrier to alter the mindset of consumers who already acknowledge the importance of hygiene and are loyal to Dettol. Therefore, it is a critical threat towards Savlon. After analyzing the main issues and the external environments, a few recommendations are developed in order to pertain to Savlon's operations. First, as competition is the main issue and barrier towards Savlon's success, differentiation is suggested as a strategy as it will allow Savlon to distinguish itself from its competitors. For instance, as sustainability has been seen as important in many parts of the world, Savlon can innovate new products that can provide greater value, such as eco-friendly green hand sanitizers and products that contain renewable plant-based ingredients. Savlon can also venture into creating CSR and to create more unique and award-winning advertisements to increase recognition of the brand. This not only sets apart Savlon from its competitors, but can also potentially enhance the value, reputation, and sales of the company. Moving on, the recommendations for the low hygiene culture issue is to form collaborations with NGOs that also has the aim to create awareness of the importance of proper hygiene. This increases the trust from customers as they will perceive Savlon as a company that promotes value and is working with trustable social welfare groups. Next, Savlon can also organize campaigns to create awareness as a form of increasing brand reputation. These strategies will allow Savlon to reach a larger audience scale as well as building its brand reputation. Furthermore, to cope with the issue of Savlon's access into new consumer market, again, Savlon can organize campaigns to be held in specific areas that has yet to know about the brand. Savlon can also consider to expand internationally by introducing the brand into bigger markets such as the United States and China. Savlon can also use digital marketing as its advertising strategy, as the effectiveness of digital media use is rising. Furthermore, due to the current pandemic of COVID-19, there is more demand for sanitizing products, which means that Savlon's sales growth will increase as the demand increases. In conclusion, the three main issues as identified are the competitive market, low hygiene culture in India, and barriers from accessing into new consumer market. The macro forces that impact Savlon in its industry are demographic, economic, cultural, and the industry rivalry. The recommendations consist of creating differentiation through innovation and sustainable products, CSR, award-winning advertisements, collaboration with NGOs, organizing campaigns, and expansion to international markets through digital media. The key takeaway is that it is important to understand the relation of the main issues of a company with the macro environment as they cannot be controlled. Therefore, companies should be flexible to adapt to the changes by creating new strategies which will provide competitive advantage in the future. These are the references used in the presentation. Lastly, I would like to end the presentation with a Kahoot Q&A activity. Click on the link to access to the Kahoot quiz. Also, please leave a feedback at the end of the Kahoot session. Thank you for watching my presentation. Goodbye.